Good morning. Hello and blessings, beautiful souls. Saravá and Axé to you. I sincerely hope that you're having an amazing day today. It is so nice to be looking into your beautiful smiling faces. Today is Tuesday here in my neck of the woods, and it's looking to be a really gorgeous day. And so I'm excited to see what today brings. I've got to keep my eye on the washing machine, and I can't start doing any kind of filming for Patreon and readings until that little noise stops. Yes. It is such a perfect day today. I just can't get over it. I've been standing here for about 10 minutes, just admiring the beauty of the forest around me and the view to that direction, which allows us to sneak a peek at Hearts Mountain each and every time the clouds clear. And I consider it such a beautiful view. Honestly, it's amazing. But let's get on with the day, yeah?
So I have just finished filming some videos for the coven regarding our exploration of the earth elements, and I wanted to talk to you a little bit about crystals because I felt inspired to do so, and because I am planning on changing up my altar very shortly, because we are entering into that time of the year where we will get to celebrate and experience the autumn equinox in my neck of the woods and the spring equinox in the north, to all my northern friends up there. And so I wanted to explore the crystals that I had on my altar and to tell you why I like to work with them. In my own words, without reading from a book, without reading somebody else's, gifted information, I wanted to speak on my own experience and my own associations that I have placed upon certain stones. And so I'm going to start off with, of course, amethyst. I absolutely adore amethyst, and I work very closely with amethyst. Amethyst reminds me of home. It's a bit of a spirit stone. It's a bit of a soul stone, and it is a stone that I naturally gravitate towards. I've said this before, that I may walk into a store and I will usually come out with either an amethyst or a piece of clear quartz. Now for me, amethyst represents spirituality, my spirituality, the beauty and the strength and the way in which I am so blessed to be able to express my version of spirituality. And it is a stone that connects me to home because you can find spectacular pieces, and I have spectacular pieces like this one here of amethyst that come from Brazil. And I tend to gravitate towards those stones that do come from my neck of the woods, and amethyst is just one of those beautiful stones that I'm fortunate enough to be able to play with, that comes from my neck of the woods. It keeps me connected to home space, to country, to spirits of place. Another stone that I absolutely adore working with is this one here, and you may recognize this one here. It is an absolutely beautiful piece of carnelian. Now, carnelian is not a stone that I place on my altar in small quantities. I usually have a prominent piece, a power piece of that stone, or I have 12 to 2 dozen little tumbled stones. I have smaller hearts, I have larger pieces of carnelian like this one right here, which is just, to me, it's just absolutely beautiful, and it brings in a different energy, and it is a stone that I tend to acquire, fall in love with, and put to good use. Now for me, carnelian is here to remind me to be creative and to trust my creative power. It also helps me to really calibrate my sacral chakra and trust in the raw, expansive, sensual and passionate power that courses out of me on any given moment. And as someone who has had issues in the past expressing my creativity and seeing what I do as being creative or being artistic, then you know, it is a wonderful, wonderful stone for that, and it brings a great deal of medicine to me. This bad boy here is peach selenite. This is the most soothing stone I have in my collection. I literally run this wand of peach selenite and I can feel it. I actively feel it brushing my aura. And in times where I'm experiencing high stress, or I need to ground and center or align or just soothe and to bring myself and my subtle body a bit of comfort, then I will utilize peach selenite. This stone, I cannot live without this stone. Many of these stones I can't live without, but this one here is the one that gives me the most tactile experience. I physically feel it. I physically feel it. If someone were to run this across my body, I would be able to tell with my eyes closed and no concept of where they are placing that. I would be able to tell just by the feel of it. It is absolutely beautiful to work with. Absolutely beautiful. Iolite is another stone that I love to work with. It's very great for use on the third eye. It is a very psychic stone. It helps me to eradicate the fuzz, the blur, especially when I'm doing divination work or spirit work. It keeps the energy in the space very high. And when I'm doing spirit work, I like to venture up into the upper worlds, and Iolite facilitates that. Iolite also has a cheeky little fae type of energy, an energy that is quite natural and supernatural at the same time, and it likes to remind you of that natural and that supernatural. It is an insightful stone. To meditate with it can bring you a tremendous amount of wisdom, but it's very, very pure wisdom. It's very unbiased wisdom, and it seems to sort of forget to hug you at the end, which is fine with me because I still have my peach selenite. These two stones are famous in my on my altar. Anyone who has had a reading, especially a spirit work, will know these two stones. These are my spirit work stones. This is Labradorite or Labradorite. Some people say it that way as well. And this one here is ribbon stone. And it's also called lace stone, but ribbon stone is its most common name. This is an Australian shaman stone. It is found in central Queensland, and Labradorite, well, we know all about Labradorite. I had the hardest time attempting to cultivate a working relationship with the Labradorite stone. For the longest time, I just simply could not work with it until I came across this piece right here. And this piece was the only piece that I could place in my hand that didn't actually feel like it was battery acid eating into my flesh. That's how it actually actively felt. And so I acquired it in a heartbeat because Labradorite is sacred to Scorpios. And Scorpio is my ascendant, and so I wanted to have a stone that I could connect with in that capacity. And when I was able to connect with this one, it brought to me so much wisdom. It opens the door. Every time I touch it, it opens the door to spirit. It just opens up that door. And it has me excited about the occult. And I think that that is the medicine of Labradorite. And I came across once upon a time a phrase in a book, a crystal book, that described Labradorite as the temple of stars, and that forever stayed with me. And so it holds that medicine for me, absolutely. And ribbon stone is very earthy, and it's very airy at the same time. It feels like smoke. It feels like holding smoke in your hand. It's very elusive. It's very light, but it has an edge of groundedness to it because it has that physicality. But it feels like smoke. So when you're holding it, imagine if you've got the smoke of an incense and you can see it, and it's so beautiful and it undulates and it moves in that way. Imagine if you could hold that as a solid form in your hand. That's what it feels like to hold this stone. Absolutely beautiful. Got so many. Then I have Kyanite here, and Kyanite is another psychic stone. It's incredibly expressive. Kyanite has that way of aligning my thought with my feeling quite nicely, because sometimes my thought, or my feeling I should say, it tends to go off in one direction and tell me something about a situation, person, place or thing, and then my thought pulls it back into a cohesive stream of information. And so it works with water and air inside of me. I know I didn't articulate that very well, but you know, it is a psychic stone. It's a stone that really stimulates that psychic connection to the world around you, and that helps to enhance that connection. If you have any kind of psychic skill, even in its like smallest capacity, this will help to enhance it. It will help you to connect to it. It will help you to trust it. But it is a stone that requires you to work consistently with it. It's not something that you can just have in your space and go, and there we go. No, you got to hold it, you got to touch it, you've got to speak to it, you've got to meditate with it, you've got to journey with it, you've got to place it on the body, you've got to spritz it and cleanse it and do all the things. Many of the stones that I'm mentioning right now, you've got to do all the things with. Then we have the desert rose. The desert rose, the stone of the spirit guide. That's where I'm going to start and stop, because that's what it represents to me. It represents the energy of spirit guide, of our guides that come to us every day. Yes, that's where we start and stop. Rainbow moonstone to me represents the divine feminine and links me to the moon. Tourmaline is my great neutralizing stone. It keeps me very grounded, and it tends to eradicate any static energy within my space, any nervous tension, any anxiety, things of that nature. And I use obsidian, black obsidian, which is here in this pendulum, in a very similar way. If I'm requiring a good heavy dose of grounding and my usual techniques are not working, then I will sit on the floor cross-legged and place a piece of tourmaline, a prominent piece of tourmaline, which I have in sphere form up there, and I will place that between the soles of my feet, and it will help to ground me instantly. It's quite like, boom, it's a jolt. It's a spiritual jolt. What more? Here we go. This is my beautiful channeling crystal, Isis, and what more can I say about Isis? She's a beautiful quartz generator with an Isis point and a charoite pyramid on the inside. It holds temple and pyramid energy, and it helps to become the very center point and the anchor to all of my crystal grids. Peacock ore, which I've recently discussed. Peacock ore is helping me to reconnect to that expressive creative form in a very different way to Carnelian, I might add. It brings the color and it brings the joy in the expression. I seem to always have a double terminated quartz point on my altar at all times, because it's what opens and closes. It's what opens and closes my crystal grids. Amber. I absolutely adore amber. I went through a whole phase in my youth where every piece of jewelry that I bought was amber. I would see amber and it would just call to me. Amber is an ancestral stone for me. It just reminds me of ancestor. It reminds me of the antiquity of the natural world. It's fossilized resin at the end of the day, and so it holds so much ancient energy. And because it's oftentimes found in, well, it is found in nature, not oftentimes, it just is found in nature. It's connected to trees and logs and wood and all of that kind of business. Yes, yes. I can't believe I forgot this one here. This is lapis. I'm such a huge fan of lapis. Lapis is such a creative stone in its own right, and it has that gold fleck through it to remind you to be regal. The blue, the indigo, it's great for the throat chakra. It's a stone that I like to use to enhance my communication, not just with others in the physical world, but also enhance my communication in the spiritual world. It is a stone that reminds me to connect to my sovereign self, and that brings that intuitive awareness as well. I have a lot of intuition stones or psychic stones on my altar because of the type of work that I do. Obviously, that's the grand theme. Then I have this one here. It looks dirty, but it's not. Let me see if I can, there we go. This is apotholite, and apotholite is my my stone that I always have, I have two pieces of apotholite. One's apotholite, one's apotholite with zeolite, and I have them on opposite ends. I create a balance with them. And it helps me to access information in the higher realm and to make sure that the connection that I have when I am channeling or when I am going up there into the higher worlds, we'll call them, that experience is clean and clear. It's non-fuzzy. It doesn't have any static. It really brings the clarity to the spiritual communicative experience. And it's a very high vibration and type of stone, and it's a stone that I absolutely love. And then I want to end it off with, I'll probably finish this video and go, oh, I forgot that stone. But this here is garnet, and garnet is a stone that I utilize to honor one of my Odisha, and it is also a stone that I connect with my base chakra through, if that makes sense. So if I've got issues with fear, anxiety, feeling ungrounded, insecure, etc., all the ailments of an unbalanced root chakra, then I will utilize garnet in that capacity, and I find it to be one of the best. Red jasper will work as well as ruby, deep dark ruby. These are stones that will work, but for me, garnet holds that medicine. It's very powerful. I find garnet to be very, very powerful. I can't even put it into terms. And so, what else have I got here? Oh yes, my coven crystal, which I don't really want to talk too much about because there is more that I can't say about this stone than what I can say. So just know that this is primary to me, my working coven crystal. And that is it. That is my, that's my crystal talk for you today. And I thought that I would do this because, like I said, I'm about to change my altar. I don't know what stones are going to come back. There will be some that will be repeated, as they always are, and there will be a new, it'll be a new grid, it'll be new herbs, it'll be new things. So I'm very much looking forward to that. And this is a nice way also to farewell these tools that I have been working with over the last couple of months. It's a nice way to shine a little light on them and to talk a little bit about them, give them a bit of love, and then allow them to hibernate for a period of time. And so that is it. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. It was an absolute pleasure sharing this space with you as per usual. If you haven't already, please do give this one a like. Please leave a comment. Tell me what your favorite crystals were to work with for this last rotation of the season, and what it is that you are looking to move into, or what kind of crystal you're looking to connect with. That's one that I would like to hear all about. And yeah, please do subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. I would love to have you on board so we can talk beautiful, magical, witchy things together and share the love. And in the meantime, wishing you so much love, luck, peace, and joy. And guess what? I'll be seeing you tomorrow. Mwah! See ya!